Okay. We're back.
Wow.
That was long. That was like a League of Their Own pee.
I used to pride myself in how long I could wait for the first one. You never want to pop the cork, right?
No, exactly.
That was always the rule.
Break the seal.
If you break the seal or pop the cork, you're going to be sorry because you'll be going for the rest of the night.
Yep.
And the first one, when I was a kid, was, I'll wait a couple hours and just hammer beers. And you want people standing next to you at the urinal to go, dude. That's what you want. Right. Then you know you've been successful.
Yes, yeah.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I get in so much trouble. And going a completely different route, actually going to the healthy side of things.
Yes.
I want to stay hydrated, but I know when I get on the road, especially with all the driving that I do, I can't.
Yes.
Because if I do, I will be stopping every 5 minutes. And I have nothing wrong with my prostate, people. It's not an age thing. I have always had this problem where if I drink any little bit, I just have to go.
You should get a stadium buddy.
I should.
Do you know what they are?
Yes, I do.
Have you researched them at all?
I haven't researched them.
I don't want to sit next to that guy at the stadium.
No.
It's like, it's not a catheter, but it's kind of like
close
that.
enough. It is close. I just can't imagine how uncomfortable it would be sitting there. I mean, yeah, it might feel great to just kind of let loose and not have to worry about it. No, we used to talk about stadium buddies for flying. When we would fly in my stepdad's airplane, because we would do long distance.
Right.
You know, you could stay in the air for 4 to 6 hours, depending on where you're flying and the altitude you're flying at. Yeah. So, and I had a small bladder, so we talked about, maybe we should get a stadium buddy. But I would just dehydrate, and then I wouldn't have to worry about it.
So, one thing that I have to stop saying so. That's a Northwest U.S. thing that I have somehow picked up.
Well, you work with a company that...
I know, but people ask questions, and I make fun of them for it.
Yeah.
People ask questions, and they'll say, what is the plan for moving forward with this particular effort? And people will answer saying... So the main plan... What do you mean, so?
Yeah, no so.
No, there is no so there. You have to answer the question.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Do, re, mi, fa, so.
So... Yeah. You hear a lot of it.
Yeah. Well, they're thinking it's kind of an We do a lot of ums. You just did an Right. I'm sure I've done 100 ums.
I don't do many ums.
You don't do many ums.
But because I've tried to learn... When I first started doing live on-camera broadcasts... we went through training on it, and they made us watch a video of ourselves.
Oh, it's enlightening,
It's enlightening, but it's painful.
Oh, it's very painful.
Oh my gosh! And because you don't have whatever you think you have done, you've done 10 times more than that. So touching your face, and I just hit the table. Sorry, Nick.
Putting your elbows up on the table.
Putting your elbows up on the table. Any of that stuff is so visible and obvious when you're watching it. And then you kind of become a machine of what not to do.
Right.
The unfortunate part is, anytime now I watch someone speak, I cannot get those things out of my mind.
Not. Well, and I had the same problem when I had first started college, because again, I was a film major when I first started.
Yep.
And they taught you all of the tips and tricks about filmmaking. And now I still can't, to this day, even though I didn't finish my degree in film, I still can't separate myself a lot of times from some of the things that happen in film. But another thing too, along with the speaking and talking and video and audio, if you look under the table right now, look at what my feet are doing.
No.
It's not a trick.
Do you have your pants on?
No. Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. What are your feet? You're crossed.
My feet are crossed.
So are mine.
If you ask my wife, or if you ever see me sitting somewhere, my legs are constantly moving. They're bouncing.
Oh.
And you can't do that on audio. So when I
you can, but you shouldn't.
No, because you can hear it.
People will think it's a percussion instrument.
Exactly. You probably can't hear it in your car unless you have, Rockford Fosgate speakers in the car or something. But there, see, and that's, do you hear the pop? I hear that all the time.
Oh,
I swallowed. And then
I have
drives me absolutely nuts.
Me
and I
too,
catch
because
myself
you
every
listen
time
to
I
it. It's
do
called a lip pop.
Lip pop.
And it's and that's one of those things that you listen for.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
and then I went soul with it as well, and that makes it even worse.
And that's what I usually cut out. It's going to be a little bit more difficult because of our recording apparatus here now, but we'll see what I can do.
Nah, that's all right.
Anyway, I bounce my legs.
You're a leg bouncer.
I'm a leg bouncer. Yeah. So when I'm recording audio, and this is recent because I'm the one editing and listening to everything, and I can hear it.
Yep.
I can even hear it in my voice because that was a little bit more intense.
I'm riding a roller coaster.
And we talked before we started recording again. The listeners aren't really going to hear any of that, but I listen with really good headphones, and I can hear everything.
Yeah, I listen with crappy headphones, the ones you gave me.
Right. You want to swap? I'll swap with you. You'll probably go, oh, this audio sounds crappy. Because right now, to me, this audio sounds crappy.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh,
but
okay.
It's just
maybe it's just
me.
us.
Maybe it's just us. It could be definitely us.
I don't think it's the equipment.
I get a lot of compliments for our audio, actually, so I'm pretty proud of that.
That's nice.
Yeah, and I am not an audio professional, guys.
Compared to me, you are.
Well
done.
It's not hard to be better than
Hey,
I mean, what?
Hey. You are not very nice right now.
Not today. I haven't had enough coffee. My coffee got cold, and it's hotel swell.
Yeah, it is not
bad.
good.
No.
Yeah.
And there is a Starbucks down the road, but it's back down to the next exit.
Oh, I'm going to the Harley store. You know
that's
that.
the other direction. Yeah, you told me that. Yeah. I'm going back to Nashville.
They don't have good coffee there either.
I bet not.
At the Harley store. It tastes like 10W40.
I was just going to say.
I know you were. Okay, so instead of the Stadium Buddy, I have to give my wife props.
Okay.
When my son was young, and he'll appreciate me telling this, it was the in the car, had to pee, stuck in traffic thing. Because they used to commute in Chicagoland, used to commute quite a bit, like an hour and a half one way every day.
Okay.
And so it was, I can't even fathom it, but they did it and did it beautifully. Michael had to pee.
Oh, no.
And Lisa, genius, grabbed a box of Kleenex. And it worked beautifully.
That's really smart.
I know. And so, threw it away at the McDonald's or whatever. But could have stopped the pee at McDonald's, but I'm sure she threw it away. I just want to see if this works.
Right.
But I thought it was brilliant.
That is a good idea.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and people always say bring a Coke bottle with you or something, and I've never done that.
Yeah.
I don't think I could bring myself to do that.
Yeah, and ladies, this would be tougher for you with
Absolutely.
the Coke bottle, I'm
Absolutely.
guessing.
But they do make those for women. They make things that they can use in the car to be able to relieve themselves. That's a nicer way of saying
that. Very nice way.
I thought so.
Yeah, that was. I'm sure you'll have women swooning.
Oh yeah,
over that.
I wonder how many women we have listening to our podcast. I know of at least one.
We did up until a few moments ago,
right?
Probably.
Exactly. Yeah,
these guys
digging
are
ourselves
terrible.
into a couple of holes.
But we do that sometimes, and I think people appreciate it because then they don't have to do it.
I'm surprised we haven't had a lot of backlash from any of that. We haven't had a lot of comments.
We're not that nasty. It's not like we do stuff that's distasteful most of the time. Although peeing in a Stadium Buddy is kind of really close to the
right. Yeah.
But everybody's been there before, where you get and you don't want to. How do we get on Stadium Buddies?
I don't know.
All right, let's move on.
You see my face right now. I'm just kind of like,
when
are you going to wrap this up? Are you wrapping this up soon?
You seem enthralled. You really do. Remember that time? We're going to talk about this 10 years from now. Remember that time, John, you brought up Stadium Buddies?
In our memoir?
That was some of the best potty mouthing I've ever heard.
What were we going to call our memoir again?
I don't know. Did it start with potty?
No. Oh, Jeeps. It was the Jeeps Don't Poop.
Okay.
Yeah, we could change it to Jeeps Don't Pee.
Why were we? I don't even want to know.
I don't either.
Let's
moving on.
So, tourism. And we were kind of talking about, and this may surprise some of you, but we often actually have topics in our heads before we get started.
Right, and then we argue over which one is better. And then we don't end up talking about it anyways.
We don't touch on any of it. But we did talk a little about tourism. I thought it was kind of interesting.
Oh, well, the reason we started that, the reason we actually had a topic is, and that's where we never got there. So we're in Nashville on Sunday, and we're touring around.
Yes.
We're going to different places. We went to the Harley store. I sent John a picture of my daughter sitting on a Harley.
It was awesome.
I'm not a Harley person. I'm not a bike person, but it was...
Happily, your daughter is now.
Yeah, she is. Oh, she loved it. She loved every second of it. And it wasn't a dealership. It was just a store.
Yeah.
It was in Marathon Motor Works, which you should go to anyways, not just to go to the Harley store, but it's an old factory. It's an old car factory.
Really?
And a lot of people don't know that there were vehicles made in Nashville at one point, Marathon Motor Works.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and they have a little museum with a lot of the old cars, and they're like Model T-esque type vehicles.
I'm going to write this down.
You should. But it's a great old place. It was falling down. It was rehabbed, and actually, those people that are listening that are fans of what's the show called? Pickers, American Pickers.
Yes.
They have a store in Nashville now called Antique Archaeology, and it's located in Marathon Motor Works.
I've heard, though, a lot of their stuff isn't for sale, and it's...
Oh, everything's for sale in this one.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe the one in Iowa, they don't have everything for sale, because that's also where they rehab a lot of the stuff. But most of the stuff in this store is for sale.
Okay.
It's not cheap. It's not cheap at all.
I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
Because people want to buy something from Pickers. And
exactly. Yeah. So it's very interesting, and we were actually at Marathon when I sent you that text, because I sent it right after the picture of Peyton. But we had already, that was our last stop of the day. So we had already hit multiple parts of the city, and people cut in front of us. And that's what pisses me off about. They are off in their own world, which I understand.
Tourists, you're saying.
Yes, and tourists.
Yep.
And my aunt was being a major tourist. She was standing in the middle of the road taking pictures of things. And I'm like, why are you... No, get out of the road. And granted, I live there, so I don't care. I've got pictures of it already. But I'm just like, it's grating on me. It's like, get out of the road right now. But she's not the only one doing it.
No, there are others,
So there
too.
are a whole bunch of other people.
Yeah.
They're standing in the middle of the road. They're in your way. They're pushing you out of the way. I'm just like, you know what? Just because you're a tourist doesn't mean that you can't have respect for other people.
So that's been the... Here I go with so again. That's been the slant on tourists from the U.S. when they go, especially to Europe. That they're not respectful, and look, there are instances of that, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's a rule of thumb necessarily that there's just rudeness.
Well,
I mean, you have to appreciate other people's cultures.
Absolutely.
I think,
I think you do.
and give respect. But I think back to, remember Steve Martin? He did a bit, and he said, "I went to France, and they do not even have the courtesy to speak English there."
Well, yeah, but they actually do. You know,
of course they do. Yeah. Well, and people always say, "Oh, Europeans are so much better because on average they speak 5 languages."
Right.
In the U.S., we only maybe have 1 language, maybe 2.
Right.
And okay, there's some validity to that, but not a lot, because geographically they need to speak more languages.
Right.
There is 1 language in this enormous country, which is several times the size of Europe.
Right.
And so it's all about what your proximity is.
Right.
I mean, I appreciate somebody that can speak French and Portuguese, and I mean, that's great.
Well, maybe not, but we do Spanish. Spanish would be a good one for us to know, and they do teach it. My daughter has started taking Spanish classes in kindergarten.
I think so, but I think, and this is important, and here we run the risk of going in the wrong direction again. But I want to be clear about this, because I really think it has a lot to do with how successful people become if they speak the language of the land they're in.
Right.
Without immigration, and I'm not talking legal or illegal, because there is a difference.
Absolutely.
But without immigration, there would be no need to speak Spanish. I think it's good for all of us so we can communicate, but I think if we're going in one direction in a reactionary sense, because we want to be more like people who are... They need to speak the language that's here, much like...
When we go visit, we should at least know
We should at least try. And this is what I love about... And we vacation often in Mexico. I love that they really appreciate it when you try.
Right.
And that's cool.
Yeah.
And I would feel the same way about somebody who speaks English as a second language.
Sure.
I really appreciate the fact that they're trying.
Right.
And I think while we should, learn other languages for our own benefit. I think it should never be as a shortcut so others don't have to learn English.
I agree. And I see exactly what you're saying. Yeah. Absolutely. I do think it would help, though. And
it sure can't hurt.
Exactly.
And going to Mexico is so much fun to be able to speak Spanish a little.
Anyway, so getting back to the tourists, and so,
so Auntie is in the middle of the street taking pictures.
Yeah, she's in the middle of the street taking pictures. And but it wasn't even that.
I could just see you reacting to that.
And that was annoying.
Yeah.
It wasn't as bad as some of the other things. So, for example, in the Harley store, I went in to see what they were doing because it was my aunt who brought my daughter in there. I didn't go in there.
Oh, that's awesome.
At first. I was waiting in the hallway because my wife, I think, had to go to the bathroom or something, and I was waiting for her. She went in there.
You should have a box of Kleenex.
Right.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I'm just trying to close the gap.
I walked in there to see what they were doing, and I tried to, and it's a small shop, and the bike is in the middle, and it's just kind of a donut almost that you walk around the bike, and that's the shop. And I walk in, and I walk one way, and then there's some people that are just standing there talking in the middle of the entire pathway. I'm like, just move over. I mean, and maybe I know my wife and I talk about this, how we're a little bit more of a pushover than most people, just our personalities. So if we're in the way, or we try not to be in the way. So if we have space to back our backs into a wall so people can get around us, we're going to do it.
It's not pushover. It's called courtesy.
We call it courtesy, but a lot of people consider it pushover because they want to stand in the middle of the freaking hallway.
Well, that's what those people say.
Yeah. So there are people standing in the middle. They're not doing anything. And I'm like, excuse me. And then they just kind of look at me like I have a third head. Not, you notice I didn't say second head, I said third head.
I did. Yeah,
because my head was about already exploding, so I had two heads. That was kind of where I was going with that. It sounded a lot worse actually after it came out of my mouth.
Yes,
anyway.
It did.
So and they look at me like I'm the strangest person in the world because I want to get by them, and I'm just get the fuck out of my way. I'm sorry, I'm swearing. Get the fuck out of my way. And so I do that. I finally get around them, and I go to the door, and then there are people standing in the doorway.
Yep.
Well, why are you standing in the doorway? They're trying to decide where they're going to go next. There's a wall over here you can stand next to. There's a bench over there you can sit on. Get out of my way. Get out of everyone's way. There are people trying to get in the store. There are people trying to get out of the store, and you're just standing there.
Two places that really comes into play for me, the airport.
Yes.
When you are in a hurry to get from one flight to the next, and you're racing up and down, and you have people who stop right in the middle of the walkway.
Oh, get out of the way.
Come on.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
And that's one of the main ones. And the other one is at the grocery store.
Yes.
So the cart, it's like a sideways parking of the carts, and you can't, come on.
And it boils down to common courtesy. You're absolutely
courtesy.
Right.
Yeah, I think it is. I think you need to look out for, what others are doing, and it's just being mindful of other people.
Right.
I'm not sure if it falls under the, tourists in general are like that, because they're on vacation, or I'm not sure. But I think it's just people in general are becoming less and less courteous these days.
I 100% agree.
Yeah. And even in traffic, right?
Did you hear that?
No,
I'm looking down at, sorry guys, I'm looking down at the audio board.
This is our sound engineer.
This is the sound engineer.
Nick.
I'm looking down at the audio board, and my headphones hit the microphone, so I apologize.
Did you really?
I did. Yeah.
That's awesome. So that's mainly awesome because he's been giving me crap for putting my elbows on the table and bouncing whatever else I'm doing. And then as he's checking the sound levels, he hits the microphone with his headphones. I would never laugh this much if we weren't together in the same room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, maybe I didn't figure it out. Maybe I did. Maybe no. I'm still trying to.
It's a phantom echo.
It is. And give it a minor pause from the actually making jokes.
We'll pretend like we're not taking a pause.
I'm checking to see if it's just maybe what I'm listening to in my headphones is why I can't.
That was
anyway,
a thing
so
years ago,
we were
I
talking
think, but
about
not anymore.
people at Marathon Motorworks, and it was all over. But I was coming out of the store, and right after these people would not get out of my way, that's when I sent John a text with the picture because I thought he would appreciate my daughter sitting on a Harley because he knows that I'm not a Harley person. I'm not a bike person. Yeah, so I sent him the picture, but then right after that I said, I have the perfect topic for the next PoddiMouths podcast. I hate tourists.
Now I know where it came from. See, and this is the first we've talked about that.
It is.
Which is.
Well, I wanted to keep it kind of a surprise.
Well, I'm surprised.
You should be.
But it's not really tourists. It's about courtesy.
It's all about courtesy. And I don't understand why people don't have courtesy. And maybe it's social media. Maybe it's podcasts.
Maybe.
It could be a lot of people listening to podcasts.
We're probably contributing to a lack of courtesy right now.
We are.
I'm not sure.
And then I'm okay with it.
But as long as
I'm just going to stay home from now on. I don't need to be going
So I
out.
won't bother other people.
Right. I won't bother the tourists. Fucking tourists.
I could tell you were not happy about
I'm still not happy about
it. But it's also it's in other walks of life too. It's in traffic.
Yes.
And I'm as guilty as anybody when it comes to being getting road rage a little bit.
On the way here yesterday, I missed my turn because there was someone on my ass. And they wouldn't get off, and I'm hitting my brakes, and they're getting closer and closer, and I didn't want to get hit in the rear end.
Yeah.
So I went to the next exit so I could turn around and come back.
I'm
like, why are you on my ass?
I really dislike that.
And I looked at it was a little kid in a Mini. It was like he probably was 16, 17 years old, and I'm surprised he wasn't texting.
What I've found is it's usually either a testosterone thing, or it's a mindless.
Either way, it's an idiot thing.
It is, but I don't.
My frustration.
They're not doing it. Yes, of course. They're not doing it on purpose most of the time. With the testosterone is, that's where it's like a challenge and so on.
Well, I always take a deep breath and say I need to be walking a mile in that person's shoes. That way, when they get mad at me, I'm a mile away and wearing their shoes.
What happened to my shoes? I got them right here. Throw them out the sunroof. Yeah, I'm with you. But traffic is like that, and I need to be. I need to get better at that. More patient. When it comes to that stuff. But there are things that I think are uncalled for, like a lack of consistency on the freeway.
Yes.
Set your cruise and go.
Yeah.
You don't need to be doing 65 and then 45 and then 70 and then really.
Yeah. And I think
be more consistent.
Most of the newer cars, and this actually goes back to our earlier part of our conversation, I believe, from like the first hour.
It seems like so long ago.
Yeah, we were talking about Waze versus Google Maps.
Yep.
And I use Google Maps more when I'm driving my wife's car because my wife has Apple CarPlay.
Oh.
And a lot of the features that I love about Waze when you use CarPlay don't function. Like it doesn't tell you where the cops are, and it doesn't show you your current speed or anything like that, where Google at least shows you your speed.
Yep.
Anyway, so in my wife's car, she also has adaptive cruise control,
which I hate.
Really, I love it. I absolutely love it because then if I'm on the freeway, I don't like it anywhere else, but when I'm on the freeway, I set the adaptive cruise control, and it will help me. And I still have to pay attention to the speed because if I get behind a big truck, it's going to be so gradual the slowdown that I won't even notice it.
That's what I dislike.
And I can understand that. Yeah. So I do pay close attention to that. However, I do like it when I'm keeping up with people in traffic because it keeps me the right distance, and I never have to worry about the cruise control. And I'm on cruise control. I'm
a cruise control guy, so I'm always paying attention to where I am.
Right.
And I don't mind hitting the brakes and resetting it. That's no big deal to me. But what I don't like about or as they call it in some manufacturers, the radar.
Sure.
Radar or cruise control or something like that, is that it will gradually slow you down. And suddenly I set it at 72 and now I'm going 63.
Yeah.
And
I get that.
And it starts like 10 car lengths back.
Right.
I'm not even close to needing the adaptive adjustment,
Right.
you know.
And I understand that. I don't have that issue with it.
Yeah.
But I do understand it.
You just can't shut it off either.
Right.
And so I don't know if I told you about this, but I rented a Toyota, which is a fine car.
Yeah.
And had I think they call it the radar, but I could be wrong, and set the cruise, and it was in the rain. And unfortunately, the sensor in the front got cloudy or dirty or something, and suddenly it's not available.
Oh, no.
So now I couldn't even use cruise control at all because I'm driving in the rain.
That sucks.
And that's terrible. What a lousy design.
Right.
So anyway, and again, Toyota, if you can hear me, and I'm sure you're listening, I used to own a Lexus that I loved.
Right.
Toyota had the cruise control figured out because they had that little stalk at about 5 o'clock on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
And
I
every
loved those.
Toyota and Lexus was the same.
Yep.
And it was so easy. If I rented a car or drove my own, it was easy because it was. And then now
Honda
suddenly
had
they've
those
changed
too.
that, and that's gone. Yeah, there are several manufacturers that had the same.
Yeah, and
type
I
across
really
the board.
liked that.
Yep.
It was a lot easier. And
You don't have to search around for
right.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So,
anyway,
but
yeah.
that's neither here nor there. That
It
has
is.
nothing to do with the tourist.
Well, it does have to do with courtesy.
It does have to do with
And
courtesy.
we've changed the topic to courtesy.
Courtesy.
Sorry.
That's all right. No, but you're absolutely right.
My friend
Courtesy.
Curtis.
Curtis and his wife C.
And his wife, C.
She's
She's
Asian.
Norwegian. We're a lot funnier in person than we are when we're not face to face.
That's what she said.
Yeah, she did say that. Wow.
Oh, I had to bring that back from a couple episodes ago. Anyway,
Can we make a rule that we're nearing the end of the podcast when we start going, anyway? Or
that should be a rule.
Anywho.
But we're nowhere near the end of the podcast.
Oh, then we have a lot to talk about.
Do we?
Sure.
What are you going to talk about?
Well, I have tourism stuff.
Oh, good. Oh,
I did
yeah, you got
research.
tourist. You did. I've been waiting all day for the tourism facts,
Well,
and I'll tell you whether I hate them or like them.
okay. First of all, before I get into facts,
Yeah.
I'm going to have observations.
All right.
My one of my best friends, his former in-laws. So he lived in Orlando. I should
Okay.
give that background.
All right.
Former in-laws would come and visit for a month.
Oh.
At his house. Can you imagine?
No, well, yes, I can.
A
So
month.
my aunt was here.
Yeah.
Auntie was here for a month. Not a month.
Wow.
Spit. No.
See, this is, I don't know if you noticed this, but Nick starts to make up stories sometimes.
Yes. Yeah,
she was
well-
here for a year.
Yeah, 97% of all statistics are made up on the spot.
Okay, she was here for
She was
how
here
long?
for a week.
A
She was
week,
here for
okay.
7 days.
Did it seem like a month?
Oh God,
Careful.
That's probably
careful.
No, I know
Maybe she's listening.
She will be listening because I told her
Yes.
when she was visiting. I love her to death. She
Yep.
is fantastic, and we had a lot of fun.
This sounds like a disclaimer.
Well, yeah. 7 days is too much.
Oh, is it?
7. Well, I think it would be different if we had the time off.
And not only that, but you had, and just full disclosure, you had air conditioning problems at
Yes,
the house.
yes,
and
we
she
had a lot of
to,
issues.
She had to go to
A
the
hotel for the first
and then
night.
back.
Yeah.
And, blah, blah,
and
blah.
she's from
Yep.
Minnesota, and it was 90 degrees with a whole bunch of
Yeah.
humidity,
It was
which
just
she's not used to.
uncomfortable.
So
Yep.
there were a lot of issues that were in the way.
Sure.
I also think, though, having time off, and we had 3 days in the middle of it, which was fantastic.
Yep.
But we all still had to work. My wife was starting camp. First day of camp was Tuesday. I think I may have mentioned in one of our previous
You did.
episodes that she's starting camp.
Yep.
For my daughter's school. So there were a lot of things that were happening. So 7 days got to be too much.
Yep.
I think we just got back from the beach, and the beach was a 7-day trip, and we had a great time. Not with my aunt, but with my wife's uncle and his family, and that was fantastic, and that wasn't a problem. But we were able to focus all of our attention on each other, not on all of the other things that were going on or wrong. So, yeah, and that was definitely part of it. But anyway, get to your facts. I want to hear some of these facts about tourists and my aunt and what she was doing the whole time.
So the long visits would be a problem. And so I guess what I'm thinking about when I envision tourists is how they dress, first of all.
Right.
Black socks and sandals.
Is that a common thing? Did you look that up?
The German ones.
The German.
Isn't that Jim Gaffigan?
Yeah.
He goes, sandals and socks? What am I, German?
Well, he is, isn't he?
I think he's got to be Nordic because he's so pale.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But Gaffigan, I mean, that does
sound Irish, doesn't it? He's got to be Irish.
Maybe Irish, right?
Or
who knows?
Scottish.
We should. I can't look it up because I'm recording on my.
I
computer.
can because I have
let's
the
go,
power.
Yeah, you can. Let's go with the facts. And when I start making fun of one of your facts, then you can look it up.
Okay, here's my first. Then this is real hard data.
Hard data.
2015, the revenues generated in travel, just in travel, in vacation travel,
Elbows
are on the table. Guesses. Yeah. What revenue worldwide?
Worldwide?
Yes.
I'm
year.
Pretty sure it's probably in the trillions.
1.26 trillion.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Which was
I was going to say 1 point.
Right
no, I
here.
didn't.
You can read upside down.
I can't. Well, I've got this big ass microphone right in front of me.
Well, at least part of that's true.
The microphone?
No, you're big ass. No, I
just lost 10 pounds.
You're very svelte. Compared to me, you are a China doll.
Like smelt.
You're a China doll.
I was going to say 1.23 trillion, but I would have been off.
Yes, you would have. This is what surprised me. Where internationally, who has the most international travels that come into their country? What country
I would
or
say,
what continent has the most?
I would say Mexico.
Europe.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
so you said continent. Did you originally say country? I thought you said
I said country and then I said continent.
Okay, well, I missed the continent
both.
part. Because Europe is not a country.
It's a continent, which is why I changed it.
Right. Yeah.
In continents. We were talking about the
continents
earlier.
Yes.
If you had a stadium, pal. Okay. Now, which country has the most travelers? People that go other places.
I'm going to say France.
Which continent has the most travelers? Europe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Europe. But the surprising part, I'm sorry.
That is amazing. That is amazing information, John.
It's 607 million people. But here's what I think. This is what we don't always talk about. It's the way they look at vacations in Europe. Mm-hmm. It's they take month-long vacations sometimes.
Right.
And I mean, it's really a big deal compared to here in the U.S.
That.
I don't know if I could do a month, but maybe I could.
Well, you don't necessarily have to go somewhere for a month. You could go somewhere for a couple of weeks, but then, I mean, I'm sure people do. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I do think, for me, sometimes I take a week off. So I have a set schedule. I have a week off for my daughter's fall break. Mm-hmm. I have a week off that we usually take for the beach vacation that we just got back from. And then I have some more that are floating that I can take hither and nither, and I'll take a day off here, a day off there.
I've never been to nither.
Oh, it's great, especially this time of year.
Yes, they're the ones that wear the sandals and socks.
That's right.
All right.
It's southern Germany.
It is nither, just outside of.
It's just outside of hither.
No, it's close to hither, but it's not. It's really close to Hamburg. I think.
Hamburg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Okay.
That's all right. Tangent.
Continue.
I forgot what I was saying. Oh, anyway. So, but sometimes during that fall break, we have traveled. We've gone to places. We've spent the whole week somewhere. But there have been times where I have spent that whole week just at home. Because staycation. Because I'm on the road.
Yeah.
I'm on the road all the time, and it does.
That's a good point.
It does drain you, and you'd have to spend time at home to fix things like the air conditioner at your house.
Yeah.
I haven't been home to try to fix that. Not that I'm going to. I have to hire someone to do it, but there is a chance that I could have. If I would have dug into it. Granted, I would have had to call someone at this point because it is something that I can't do.
Well, obviously,
even legally
even
can't do.
The people who came there to fix it couldn't.
They couldn't fix it. Right? It's still broken.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of projects around the house.
Sure.
So we're still working on the backyard. We've lived there for a year and a half, and we still haven't unpacked all the boxes. So
yeah, but that's not as unusual as you might think.
no, I don't think it's unusual at all. I
Yeah.
think a lot of people have the same situation. But again, take a week off to stay at home and actually get stuff done.
Well, and you think about from a travel standpoint, and my wife and I talk about this have talked about this from time to time, that it's, I fly all the time. You drive more than I do. The last thing you want to do on vacation is get on a plane.
Absolutely.
Or hop in a car
Yes.
and drive 1,000 miles or whatever.
Right.
And so it's about, so you have to have not only you in mind, but your family in mind too.
Right.
And so anyway, we've learned, and it's kind of funny over the years, that we have two different modes when we travel. We have Jon business mode,
Right.
and we have relaxing vacation mode.
Right.
And it's two, as you know, totally different things at the airport.
Yes.
Jon business mode is, you better follow me and you better stay with me because I'm going to leave you in the dust otherwise. And it's, or you need to chill out, mister, because you're going too fast and we're on vacation.
Yeah.
And so
that's, I think that's a great point to make too, because that is a part that's difficult when you're at the airport or when you're in the car.
Sides.
For both sides,
because for our families.
Yeah, because they don't travel as much as we do, so they don't have that mindset. And then when we are on vacation, we want to take that time.
Yep.
We're still in that mindset a little bit because it's travel.
Because I'm at the airport.
We're trained. We are Pavlov's dog when it comes to travel. So we get through the gate, get through the security, get to the gate, sit there and wait. There's a great in Franklin, Tennessee. There's some of the stoplights when they have the crosswalks because it's a very touristy part of town. You press the button and it goes wait.
Yes, that's John Wayne Airport. Same thing when you park a rental car or return a rental car and cross the street. Wait, and it's the same dude. I'm sure.
Turn signal
Same
is
voice.
active.
Oh, really?
Or not
That
turn
too?
signal. Go or walk signal. Walk sign is active.
Walk. Yes, that's amazing.
Yeah,
but it is. It's a different mindset, and when you're at the airport so often, one of the things, and people say that travel must be hard because you do it all the time, but it's not hard because we do the things to make it easier,
right?
And part of that is going through pre-check.
Yes,
people who have clear, and I have not for any reason resisted it to this point. I haven't seen the benefit. Clear's been around for years.
Yeah.
And the only time I ever really considered it in the past was at Orlando.
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah, because they never had pre-check in Orlando.
And I love pre-check.
Or any special lines or anything. Now they do, I think. But anyway, that said, that was the only time. And today, there are a couple of airports where the line at pre-check is pretty long.
Yes.
But the clear line is pretty quick to get through. So I'm thinking about it. We'll see.
Are you? Well, you fly a lot more than I do. Right? For me, pre-check is great.
Yes.
And it works very well. And at Nashville, they only have pre-check as far as I can tell.
Oh.
And it's always very, very clear.
Oh, instead of clear, you mean? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. I don't. Yeah. It's been a little while since I've flown out of Nashville, but I'll let you know.
TSA pre-check is wonderful.
They are
not
awesome.
a sponsor.
They should be a sponsor.
They should be a sponsor. Yeah. What the hell? Government.
What the hell, government?
No, you have to say it. What the hell?
Government. I'm sure they're listening.
I'm sure that. Well, yeah.
Well, I mean,
the NSA is listening.
I activated Alexa before we started.
Oh,
so
shit.
I travel with Alexa all the time.
Do you?
No.
Is she a good traveler?
She's not.
What does your wife think of that?
Yes. My wife thinks that Alexa is out to get her, too.
Well, maybe she's thinking of Alexei. That's her travel companion. A Russian gentleman,
Lisa
Alexei.
will say something like, Alexa, turn off downstairs lamps. And she won't respond. Then I'll go, Alexa, turn off downstairs lamps. And she shuts them off. And Lisa goes, oh, John, I'm happy to turn off the lights for you. So Alexa has the phantom voice now, too.
Nice.
From my wife. Yes.
That's hilarious.
She only listens to him. Yes,
More facts.
Yeah, more facts. Here we go.
Wait, before you... Actually, I do have one other thing. So we talked about YouTube channels and going down rabbit holes in YouTube channels. There's a couple that I think you had mentioned you follow them too, Kara and Nate. They're trying to visit 100 countries And I think there are 80-something or 90-something countries right now.
Are they in? What are they traveling in?
They're just traveling. So they'll fly, they'll drive, whatever. They're just traveling around the world.
I don't know if I recall them.
Look them up.
Maybe
It's pretty good. And one of the reasons my daughter loves them, and one of the reasons is they're from Nashville. So they're local to us. And, and they're more local. They're more like my daughter because they were born and raised there. However,
got it.
They also have a really neat company that they've started for travel to get cheap tickets. I don't remember what the name of it is. My wife signed up for it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's not the point of this.
But yeah, it is. We're still talking travel.
Well, we are.
And I'm sure they're courteous.
Well, that's what I'm getting to. So they are videoing, not filming. They're videoing their entire travel experience, and they're editing, and they're really, really talented at doing it. They're
filming. I'm sorry, I just caught that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They're recording. But they all of their travels, all of their experiences, and they put it on YouTube, and we get to watch it, and they're fantastic. They're great photographers, they're great editors. The music's fun. They're very good at what they do. Mm-hmm. But my point is, they are the consummate tourists. They are traveling around the world. Visiting all these different places, but they're doing it with a camera in their face. Not camera people, not like at Anthony Bourdain when he had a whole crew around him. They're just doing it themselves, and they're using selfie sticks. And I know you guys can't see that, but I'm holding my arm straight out with nothing in it.
I will swear to it in the court of law.
They're holding out selfie sticks. They're filming each other. They're setting up cameras and doing walk-bys. Everything that you would do to film a very good television program, but they're doing it by themselves as tourists. What do you think of that? Would that annoy you? Because I've never seen anyone do that, but I would almost be annoyed just to see it. And my wife and I have talked about it. So wouldn't it be fun to have a program? And I just hit my watch on the table.
He just hit his watch on the table. Get your watch away from the table.
Get my elbows off the table.
I sound like an audio guy now, don't
I? Anyway, so we've talked about doing that because, hey, what a great living to be able to just record what you do, put it on YouTube, and that's how you make your living traveling. And what a wonderful. We couldn't imagine while we were going out and looking at things to set up shots and make sure everything looks pretty and do audio and all that stuff while we're on the road, because that would from that respect it would take away from the experience. But then looking at people actually doing it, would that take away from your experience seeing that?
Watching people do it?
Watching people, or do you think they get in the way because...
Well, it depends. If they're courteous.
Well, you're hoping they're courteous.
Well, they need to be. And I think, there are people who do that for a living, as you know, especially you see their YouTube channels, and it becomes a job.
Right.
To a degree, I would think, but some of them are just so talented setting up shots, as you said, and the music, and of course you see all the drone footage that they do, and that's amazing.
Oh yeah, but that takes work.
Oh my gosh, and a lot of money invested in cameras and equipment, and although if they have sponsors, if they're that big, then they will have stuff donated to them.
Absolutely.
Or they'll send them.
But they might donate one camera, but they still have 5 other cameras that they need to use to get all of the content they have.
And so I think it's kind of cool, frankly, that they do that stuff. I think it's becoming more mainstream or more commonplace at very least that you see some of that.
Right.
And as you and I are exposed to some on YouTube that we've watched and subscribed to, I think it's kind of cool to see it.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be offended by it, and if I recognize them, of course, I'd be happy to see them.
You jump in and say, "Hey!"
Maybe not like that.
Oh, I'm sure you would. You jump right behind
I do it
them.
much more manly.
Oh,
hey!
You do your radio voice?
Hey, how's it going, you guys? I recognize you from YouTube. No, but I did see a guy that I thought I recognized arriving at the airport the other day.
Oh, really? In Lexington?
From Mountain Men. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
Eustace,
the
guy from North Carolina.
Really?
With the scraggly beard and I'm not positive, but I think it was him that was getting off the plane in Madison.
Interesting. In Madison. Why would Eustace go to Madison?
Why
would anyone go to Madison?
Whatever.
Madison's
because they got
city,
tired of Minneapolis.
Probably. Yeah. Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. But I thought it was Eustace.
Interesting. Probably wasn't.
Probably not.
It was probably someone.
And that's why I didn't want to say Eustace, because then you feel like a dork.
Yeah.
Even if it's him, you feel like a dork.
He'd probably keep walking, and a whole bunch of other Eustaces would turn around. What?
Because it's a very common name these days.
Yeah. Well, that happened too. A lot of people were shouting Nick this week because Nick is a very popular name. And every time they did that, I'm like, what? Who's calling me? Someone recognize me? Is it a PoddiMouths fan?
Did someone recognize me?
Someone recognized me from the podcast.
Yeah, probably your voice. They heard your voice on a plane.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Definitely heard my voice.
In the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would recognize that voice all right. I think if you would wear that outfit...
I'd have to buy that outfit. That's just a filter from Snapchat.
I know it is, but...
No, you don't.
You're right. I don't understand
You thought
filters.
I was wearing that.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. You're not a digital marketing professional at all.
No, I'm not. But I can actually envision you with the... I will take away my challenge to you to have a comb over if you wear that rainbow...
I would wear that rainbow
hat.
It's a wig, but okay. Yeah, next Halloween.
It's like
that'll be my Halloween costume.
No, not Halloween. You should do it another.
I'll do it. Okay, next podcast I'll do it.
We're not going to be face to face then, because I won't be able to look at you. Yeah,
you'll never know.
No, you'll take pictures. I'll make you send me pictures.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway,
all right.
Facts. Go
really quickly. This is the last, and then we're getting out of here.
Yep.
Because we have to drive to Nashville. We get to drive to Nashville.
Yeah, and we got to check out here pretty soon.
And I'm going to the Harley store. Hey, I can get late checkout. I have an aluminum membership. I think,
aluminum.
Yeah.
I love it.
What's the number one tourist destination in the world?
Is it a country or a continent?
It's a thing. It's a
thing.
So not destination. Forgive me. Attraction.
Yep. The Grand Canyon.
No, in the world. Come on.
The Grand Canyon.
No. Empire State Building.
Well, it's still the same country. Where are you going?
Wow,
the world.
Really close. Yeah. How far away are the two?
I've seen the Empire State Building from the window of a cab, but I've never been up close to it.
I've seen the Grand Canyon from the Empire State Building. If you stand on your tiptoes.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, okay.
What's number two?
Grand Canyon.
No. The Freedom Tower in New York.
Oh, well, I can see that. Definitely.
Well, you can see it from the Grand Canyon, yeah.
That one you probably could. It's only a couple thousand miles away.
The third?
You thought I was going to say Grand Canyon, weren't you?
No.
Oh.
I tell you the Grand Canyon is nowhere in the top 8 that I have in front of me.
Really?
So, yeah,
because it used to be somewhere in there.
Probably. It was one of the 7 wonders, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Close. It has tower in the name.
The Tower of Eiffel.
CN Tower in Toronto.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting. Even more than the Space Needle?
Yes.
Interesting.
Space Needle's nowhere in the top 8.
Really?
Yeah.
Fascinating. Where does the Eiffel Tower rank?
Fifth.
Fifth, okay.
Behind, there are actually 2 in a row in Paris. The Arc de Triomphe.
Really?
And I'm sure I'm saying that wrong.
You are, but it's okay.
Then say it right.
No, I can't. I don't speak French. My wife could say it.
You should.
Even if I tried it,
You're
my wife would
insensitive.
still say it. It's like, okay, how do you say
My wife could say it too.
Crepe.
Crepe.
Yeah.
I passed the test.
Yes, you did. Because my wife gets on me all the time because people say crepe.
Do you call it crepe?
I used to. Now I call it crepe.
Make her angry and call it creep. Honey, let's stop for some creeps.
Yep. Yeah.
That would drive her crazy.
On the same side of that, my daughter has always been raised to say crepe.
Yeah.
So when she goes out and say, "Hey, let's go to the crepe store," and everyone's like, "What? What are you talking about?" The ones that don't speak French.
I'm speaking French.
Yeah, because my wife is a French Nazi. She speaks French. So
my wife does as well.
Yeah.
And 5 years in school, and she's
Yeah.
And okay, so we'll talk more about that.
Okay. Go on.
Yeah, Arc de Triomphe. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, but both of our wives would correct me.
Right.
Eiffel Tower.
Eiffel Tower. I fell from the tower.
It seems like, again, the Steve Martin thing. If you say it with an accent that they should understand you.
Yeah, or louder. You got to speak up, too.
I would like to go to the hotel.
So there's the great program that I used to watch with my parents. It came out late 80s, early 90s. It was a British comedy, BBC comedy, and they aired it on PBS called Allo Allo, Allo, All.
Hello?
Allo Allo. Mm-hmm. And it was a television show based during World War II, and it starts in a French cafe. So all of the characters, and of course they have Nazis and they have the French Resistance and they have some English people, but everyone, when they switch languages, switches accents. And they're hilarious accents. So all the French people have French accents, and then if they have to speak English, they switch to an English accent. And then they have one character who is supposed to be speaking French because he's a spy, but he doesn't speak French very well. So he's messing up all the words. Oh man, I would highly recommend it if you like British comedy, the dry humor.
I've actually seen it.
Have you?
The only, and I haven't. I shouldn't say that. I've seen an ad for it or something. I haven't actually seen the show.
Oh, it's freaking hilarious.
But I've heard good. Anytime I watch a British show, it takes me 20 minutes to get into the mindset of the accent.
Because you have to.
Yeah,
you have to.
Because I mean, even if you're, Faulty Towers or any of them, it just it takes me some time to get used to it.
Anyway, go on.
Eiffel Tower is number 5. Number 6 is the Burj Khalifa.
Okay.
Which is in Dubai. The world's tallest building, 2,700 feet or something.
That's crazy.
Like that. Yeah, that's crazy for sure. Number 7 is Buckingham Palace.
I can see that.
I think that's interesting. That it's number 7. But you think about the Grand Canyon, you think about the pyramids, and it's interesting to me where these kind of fall. And number 8 actually surprised me a little bit too. Disneyland.
Disneyland or Disney World?
Land.
Interesting.
Very
interesting, because I would think Disney World over Disneyland.
Well, so think in terms of visitors versus tourist attractions.
Okay.
I think what's true about Disney World is, and we know people, Stephen, for example, who has an annual pass to Disney World. Yeah. I think a lot of locals go. I think a lot of there aren't as many international travelers who go to Disney World, I would guess.
Sure.
But I think it's a busier park, if I'm not mistaken. It's much larger.
What, Disneyland or Disney World?
World.
Yeah, World is bigger.
Yeah, than Land. But anyway,
that's interesting.
I found that kind of cool.
All right, what any other fun facts that you got there?
I mean, I can certainly look some up, but I'm not going to make that stuff up. I'm just going to say.
We can save it for another. That would be another fun PoddiMouths episode.
Would be
to have fun facts about travel or something like that, or tourism.
Why don't we just make them up? That'd be even more fun.
Wow.
Hey, you know what's the number 1 attraction? The harley-davidson store in London, Kentucky.
I was going to say the Grand Canyon.
That's number 2, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Right behind the Harley store.
I have honestly never been to the Grand Canyon. I can say that. I've been to a lot of places.
I've been over it 100 times.
I'm sure I've been
more
over
than
it at some
100,
point.
Yeah. But I haven't either. I have not done the actual visit. The Grand Canyon has some amazing history within it. And here's a teaser. People think that the Colorado River cut the canyon, and that's absolutely not true.
It cut one part of it, right? No. Where it actually flows now?
No.
Really?
No.
Okay.
No, it's pretty amazing how it all happened. When you look at some of the fossilization on the sidewalls and everything.
Big work for you.
I know. It's not as big as gentrification, but it's very close.
I aim to please.
Unless you're using a stadium, buddy.
Right. Then you don't have to aim at all.
We love you, listeners. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We have had an awesome time
We
today.
Really have.
And tell them where they can find out more
Well,
crap.
First I want to say I can't wait till we get to do another episode face-to-face. This is
we need to do that.
Yeah,
we
awesome.
do. Yeah.
We do.
Thank you for setting everything up, too.
It's
in my
hotel
pleasure.
Room. In your hotel room.
This is the most
everywhere.
noise that has been in this hotel room
in 5 minutes.
Well, since the people checked out before I got here, probably. They were loud.
Boy. Anyway, you can find out more on Facebook.com. That's that little page. I know not many people go there. It's a small site, but you could. There's housekeeping. Do you want to go take care of that while I finish up?
I shall finish.
All right. So you can find us on Instagram at PoddiMouths, and you can also find us on Twitter at MouthsPoddy. Also, if you feel so inclined to, did you hear the door open there?
We're going to be about 10 minutes. Thank you.
I just wanted to record that. Anyway, you can find us on Patreon if you want to help us and allow us to spend more time together in beautiful London. In hotel rooms in London, Kentucky. And also, one thing we've never actually added that I'd like to add, if you're not a subscriber on any of the podcast networks and you're just listening to us for the first time or just been looking for us each time you've listened, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and subscribe and get notifications. You can also sign up for, if you go to the website, you can sign up for a newsletter, and every time a new episode goes live, you can actually get notification from there and all that good stuff. Anything
That's
else?
A good idea.
I think it's a great idea.
Yes. I'm going to do that so I know when the next episode is.
Yeah. Well, for those of you who don't want any notifications, our episodes do go live every Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. Central. Or, I'm sorry, 6 a.m. Eastern, 5 a.m. Central. So,
perfect.
Yeah. All right, folks. Thank you, and goodbye from beautiful downtown London.